Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 62 of the Keep Tappin X Podcast. I got you off guard, didn't I?
Hey, what up?
It's March 23rd, 2018.
We're a man down today.
We're a man down. So we'll see how that goes. We have some changes upcoming. Mm-hmm. So bear with us. It was a little last minute for this one here. So we're a little off kilter.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're just going to do a short episode. You know what? David and I are just going to chill for one episode. And by chill, we're going to talk about D&D.
Yeah, we're just going to discuss.
Mm-hmm. Blake doesn't play D&D, so it's just a good chance to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
There's a new book coming out.
Yes, there's a new book coming out. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the books we do have and what we liked. And hey, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, just, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
We're going to predominantly talk about 5th edition.
Mostly 5th edition.
Maybe a little bit of 3.5 in there. At least that's my experience. So
I mean, those are the only 2 editions I played.
All right,
I played like one campaign of 4th.
But of 4th?
Yeah.
I hear 4th is just Battle Simulator, the game.
That is what it is, yeah.
It's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's just go right now. I mean, I wouldn't call this a special D&D themed episode. I want to do that and bring in guests and talk about that.
It's just someday. Like a short little chat.
Mm-hmm. So do a little chat. So what do you got in your hands right there?
Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Ooh, what's that to the people who don't know what that is?
Xanathar's is an expansion book to 5th edition. Mm-hmm. It has some new classes, some new or I guess subclasses, mm-hmm. New monsters, new ways to roleplay, mm-hmm. build your character. How
closely did you follow 3.5?
Pretty closely.
Did they ever add new classes? Not subclasses or anything Or I guess there weren't Were there subclasses?
No, there weren't. As far as I'm aware, because I DM 3.5, I was just a player.
Okay.
They had the base races, the base classes, and then the rest were, if you wanted to add other stuff, it would be homebrew.
I see. Okay.
So mostly in 5th edition, what they did with subclasses and things like that is they took homebrew ideas that people had mm-hmm. and ran them through filters, obviously, and balance changes, and then mm-hmm. made it official.
Okay. How many years have you have experience of D&D?
I played 3.5 for, 4 years?
Sounds about right.
And then I played 5th. I've been playing 5th for another 4.
Okay.
Or 5.
Yeah, I think I played 3.5 for about 4 years.
Yeah.
But during that time, 5th edition came out.
Yeah.
So I got the starter edition for 3.5.
Oh, nice.
The box is over. Actually, it's over there in the bottom shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little booklet in there. I actually need to reread that because it's actually a really cool adventure. But I DM'd for the first time then.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't, it was my first time playing, so I had no idea what was going on.
Wait, your first time playing was a DM?
5th edition, yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that was a little rough.
Actually, me too.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you DM'd our campaign there.
Yeah.
So, I didn't really enjoy it then because I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Yeah.
And it was from then on I was like, maybe I don't ever want to be a DM ever again.
Yeah.
So, but as a result, I like DMing now, even though I still have never DM'd Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I've only DM'd other games like Mutants and Masterminds and
Traveler?
No, Empire at War. No, that's a video game. It's the Star Wars.
The Star Wars one.
Jeez, I can't remember off the top of my head.
One.
Fantasy Flight Star Wars, their first edition Smugglers one.
Mutants and Masterminds, low-key, is real good.
Yo, check that out. I would love to do an episode based on that someday. Ooh.
If you like superheroes and you like tabletop games, play that.
Yeah, look up Mutants and Masterminds. If you get the book, the player's handbook there, you read that, you're gonna be so confused. Mm-hmm. You have no idea what's going on, and then you're gonna start playing and be like, okay.
It's really simple.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we're not here to talk about superheroes. We're here to talk about dungeons.
Yeah, and dragons.
So, so we got a couple books in front of us right now.
Yeah.
We have the Player's Handbook. We got Xanathar's Guide to Everything. I don't own a DMG.
Really?
Don't own a Dungeon Master's Guide.
Do you own a Monster Manual?
I don't own a Monster Manual either. I need to own both of those because I never had a reason.
Yeah,
I never
that's
do.
True. The DMG has a lot of information in it.
I know, it's good. It's good stuff. But I, out of the books I do have, which is the Player's Handbook and Xanathar's, I very much enjoy Xanathar's a lot.
Just so everyone knows, those who aren't familiar with D&D, 3 core books for 5th edition, which is the newest edition, is the Player's Handbook, which every player should have. the Dungeon Master's Guide, or the DMG, which the Dungeon Master should have, and the Monster Manual, which also the Dungeon Master should have, which has all the enemies in it.
To be fair, the Dungeon Master should have all 3 books.
Yeah, yes. Correct.
Or access to all 3 books, I should say. You did kind of get away, I think, without a monster manual if you look online for monsters, but it's going to be a lot tougher for you.
Yeah, it's just easier and more satisfying to flip through the pages and find them.
Definitely. But you can find all these books online, Amazon, your local store. You can also look up at the what's it called? D&D Guild? No.
Dungeon Masters Guild, yeah.
DM Guild. There's that, but what about the thing you guys use on your app? Your phone. Your handhelds.
D&D Beyond.
Yeah, D&D Beyond. That's it. That's a good site. You can buy all the PDFs for every book.
Yeah, it's run by Twitch, actually. That app.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's run by Curse, which is owned by Twitch.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's fair. So I really enjoy Xanathar's, the expansion there.
Yeah.
I think, if you're a new player, there's a lot of interesting things in there that doesn't like. What I like about Xanathar's is it's an expansion that doesn't break its game. It only just adds, right?
Yes.
And it adds at a base level. So if I'm a new player going into the game, not only do I have all these choices in the player's handbook for wow, I want to be a paladin. Here are the oaths you can take, your subclasses, and you're just like, wow, look at these. Oh wait, there's some more in Xanathar's, and they're formatted similarly, if not a little better. And it's just more choices for you, which I really appreciate about that. And it helps DMs too. It
definitely does. It has a lot of subclasses. And for those more familiar with video game lingo, subclass is pretty much your spec.
Yeah, for your spec.
That's like your class's spec.
I'm like, I could be a healer, paladin, or DPS, or a retribution. Yeah, right.
Or tank, or what,
But I really enjoy the variety, the sheer variety of Xanathar's, and a lot. I watched a lot of interviews and whatnot about Xanathar's before it came out.
Yeah, and
it really seems like the writers of the book, wizards over there, they really listened to people when it came to that book.
That's what I thought too, because a lot of things they add in Xanathar's for just rules are just little tiny DM things that are really good to know. Like when you take falling damage in D&D, like that was always a point of contention. Like, how much do you take when you fall this many feet? Like, how much damage you take? And in Xanathar's, it says exactly.
And it also says, like, if you hit a creature that's flying and it plummets to the ground, it has specific rules for that.
Yes.
You're like, do they fall the full 60 feet in like their turn? Like, how does that work? And also, like, tying ropes, or probably the most useful, in my opinion, is identifying a spell by looking at it.
Yep. So, like, you have to look at what hand motions a person's doing, what kind of energy is there. Like, you have to really...
let me talk about a little pet peeve of mine with Dungeons and Dragons and players and DMs and whatnot. So, Magic is so... it's made out to be this very complicated, like...
Yes.
People spend centuries, I'm sorry, not centuries. Centuries, but years of their lives to the pursuit of studying magic.
Yes.
Or you're a sorcerer and you just get touched in the forehead and now you're magic. But... that being said, like, when I see people do really simple things with magic, it frustrates me. What do I mean by that? I mean, there's a reason why subtle spell exists as a meta magic feat for sorcerers, right? People don't really look at there are 3 parts of a spell. There's the vocal, or the semantic, verbal, and material cost of a spell. Meaning, some spells you have to do hand motions. Some spells you have to, like, whip out a diamond and it consumes the diamond.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to say something.
Or all 3.
Yeah. I have... majority of campaigns I've been in, people have treated spells as if it was always subtle.
Yeah.
It was just something like, if you just said, like, I just, like, cast Mage Hand under my hand here. It's not... Mage Hand is just one I tossed out of my ass. I don't know if that one requires verbal or anything. Probably not.
Positive.
But spells like that, it's just like, you need, like, you are bending the fabric of reality, time, and space to your whim. You don't think I can just go like, abracadabra, and then all of a sudden, like, fire shoots in my hand, like, out of nowhere.
You're like literally a really flamboyant wizard going, when you shoot a fireball. That's
that's the way it should be. Like, magic is, like, supposed to be like this really dangerous, and, like, you do not trifle with this. That's why I think a lot of wizards in fantasy in general are very stoic or reclusive or insane because they're like hermits, you know what I mean? Because you have to like study this stuff. Magic isn't something to kind of whip out.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, I don't know if that's mostly based on how the player plays it or how the DM narrates it. But when you cast a spell, you are being very obvious about it. So, and even in the campaigns I run now, that doesn't really happen. But I guess there's not really a lot of situations where you have to cast spells without being noticed.
Yeah, I mean, but like that should be important, right?
Yeah.
If I am a sorcerer, I will, and I did this at your campaign when you DM when I played a sorcerer. I ran subtle spell.
Yes.
Because I think there are so many situations where that could be way more viable, but I see so many situations where somebody will say, I cast a spell, the DM allows it, and there's no repercussions in that regard. It's just it's a lot to keep track of, especially for the DM.
It's a lot to keep track of which spells have which components.
Yes, that's true.
And material components can get very cumbersome at times.
My philosophy would be every spell has like that verbal semantic, unless the player, like that's my default mindset, and the player needs to show me otherwise.
Yeah.
They need to tell me like, no, okay, listen, I'm casting a spell. By the way, it's like a quieter spell. Okay, that's fair.
I think one of the only spells, low level spells at least, without a verbal component is Wild Shape. Druid's Wild. I think they just change.
Yeah, I don't think that's a spell. So you can't.
Oh yeah, I guess technically
it's like an ability. You can't counterspell a Wild Shape. Or
that's
something.
True. That's true.
But now that they have in Xanathars, they added, they mentioned rules about identifying spells and stuff like that. It's just spells are really daunting for new players, and I get that.
Yeah. It's a lot more complicated to pick and choose spells and learn how to cast them and what you need to cast them than it's just swing a sword.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's easy. I mean, it's accessible enough to where if you want to play a spellcaster and you've never played anything else before it, go for it, because there are, your DM to make it easier for you and everything like that. I think maybe it's because I've been playing for so many years and I like spellcasters. I think I am just kind of craving a bit more involvement with my magic.
Yeah, I understand. Sense. I understand what you mean by that. And it's one of the biggest upsides of playing a spellcaster, in my opinion, is the choice that you have. Well, on your turn, you can have a choice of like 10 different spells to cast. You can do so many things, and when you're a melee character, you can only do one thing. And it's like you swing your sword, and if you miss, that's it. Your turn's over. And as a spellcaster, you can be like, I cast this, and then I do this, and it's more exciting.
If you one thing that's really a bummer about spellcasters, which is alleviated in some homebrew stuff, which I'll mention in a minute, is the fact that if you cast a spell and say your target passes their saving throw or you miss, you're done.
Yep.
And not only do you waste a resource, a spell slot, but you're also wasting your entire turn.
That's true.
That is very painful and very slow, especially when you have a lot of people at the table.
Yeah.
But if you look at Critical Role, they have, what is Matthew Mercer's rule? You can cast, a normal spell into action, but as a bonus action, you can cast a level 2 or lower spell.
Yeah, and I think that changed as they leveled up. I think it started as you can cast a cantrip as a bonus. As they leveled, it was first or cantrip.
I like that a lot. I have not checked out the book, the campaign guide.
I haven't either.
I've seen it. I've held a physical copy and looked through it, and I've seen that rule, but I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
I definitely want to pick it up because I want to know more about that rule, and I think that is a very smart move.
I think it is
when fighters are rolling 6 times for like extra attacks and stuff. You can at least have your spellcaster, roll an extra dice.
I think level 5 is a good. If it's not level 5 in the book, I think level 5 is a good level to be able to cast a cantrip as a bonus action, because that's when melee characters get their bonus attack.
I agree. Yeah, move kind of in tandem with that.
Yeah.
So, we're kind of rambling about
I guess,
which is fine. But let's just pick a question, just roll with it.
Yeah.
We would do other podcast stuff here. Let's go into DMing.
Okay.
Let's stick to the topic of if you want to be a dungeon master.
Yes. What does it take to be a DM?
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid to be a DM, which is completely understandable.
Myself included.
Yeah. A lot of people are afraid of doing it. And a lot of pressure is put on you to DM because, say you have a group of, what's an average D&D group? 4 players.
4 players, 1 DM.
Yeah. So say you have you're in a group of 5 people, yourself included, and you all want to play D&D, and you need a DM. If you say, I'll be DM, that's a lot of pressure put on you, because then everyone is looking towards you to know what to do.
Yes.
You need to craft an entire world. You need to craft NPCs. You need to know the information of all the player characters. You need to not only know how to play, but know all the rules. And that's tough.
And that's like it on paper, right? That's like the thread. That's like the bridge that you have to cross, the wall that you have to climb. And I think in reality, it's okay because that weight on your shoulder isn't as heavy as you think.
Yeah.
It's definitely a mind game.
Because it's a learning experience.
Yes. It's a learning experience. And if you're having trouble, like, man, I don't know about crafting an entire world, everything like that, there are plenty of amazing companion guides out there, stories to go through. Go check out the starter set. You can buy the starter set for like $30.
Yeah.
And it has like pre-made characters, or, screw that, make your own characters.
Yeah.
Its own adventure in there. It's like a 3-part adventure, I think. Some big. It has its own world maps, all that stuff. It's great.
And there are other D&D books that don't have any like classes or races or monsters in them. It just has pre-made campaigns.
Yeah, Rise of Tiamat.
The Yawning Portal.
Yawning Portal, there you go. Yeah, there's plenty of them out there.
Has a lot.
Tomb of Annihilation, I think it's just a dungeon run.
Yep. So if you either want to just use a pre-made D&D campaign and DM that for your first try to get the feel of it, or you can use those as inspiration to make your own.
I think first tip, decide what edition you want to play.
Yeah.
So that's very important. So that's going to decide everything.
Do 5th.
Yeah, do 5th.
It's the most balanced.
Yeah, 5th. Seriously? Oh, yeah, do 5th. No, but really, I mean, know what each edition kind of stands for.
Yeah.
And, like, look up, reviews online, see what you like. 5th edition is definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
Now, it is accessible. It's still in its, like, early stages, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So there's still, it feels like there's not a wave of just amalgamation of information being thrown at you. Excuse me. So it's a lot more accessible in that regard. And I think, if you study up 4th edition, apparently it's like a combat simulator.
And it's a lot of modern day stuff. It's like if you want to put guns and grenades in your campaign, here you go.
Yeah.
It's a lot of just like...
Really? 4th edition?
Yeah. It's a lot of just combat.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But 5th edition's great for especially people starting out. So decide what edition you want to play. Next, I would say, decide, obviously your play group. That's important. You should probably know this ahead of time.
Yeah.
How many people are going to play, whatnot. What do you think would be the next tip to a DM? We're just improvising this right now.
A next tip to a DM besides know your party.
Yeah.
Just get the basics down.
Okay.
You don't need to know the very in-depth rules right away. Just know, how many feet does each race move? Like, what's their movement speed? It's just very
what does that
basic
mean?
stuff.
What does 30 feet mean?
Yeah,
right?
like how many squares on the board is 30 feet. If one very important one.
Yeah.
No challenge ratings.
Okay,
So,
what is challenge ratings if somebody doesn't know?
So monsters don't have levels like players do. They have challenge ratings. And they can be anywhere from 1/8 to 21 or 30, I think, with the terrorist.
I was 30. I think that's...
So 1/8 to 30. And a monster with a challenge rating of 1/4 is as powerful as a level 1 player character. So 4 level 1 player characters, the average group, is equal to a challenge rating 1.
I see. And they have this in the Dungeon Master's Guide.
This is in the Dungeon Master's Guide that explains this.
Okay, so learn challenge ratings. Yeah. I think an important tip on my end would be what equipment does a player or does a DM and a player need for their first adventure through whatever world they're creating?
Like equipment as in real life stuff or
real life stuff?
Okay.
So I think table wide.
Yeah.
At least one player's handbook, I think, is, if you're making your own characters, is a must.
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah, and you just need one. Everybody doesn't need their own. You know what I mean? If you guys are not sure about the game, and just, it's a great book just to have anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice hardcover, beautiful art, gorgeous stuff. Player's handbook is a necessity.
Yeah.
I think a grid map,
which
you can get online, relatively cheap. Just get like a square grid map, however big you can get it.
Yep.
Because that's going to determine your battle maps and whatnot there.
Markers to draw on the map.
Character sheets, which you can find PDFs online. I recommend highly. If you looked on the D&D Guild, it's usually on the top page, popular there.
Yeah.
It's basically your cheat sheet class guides.
Oh, yes.
Hold on, let me get the full name. Give me one sec.
So they're pretty much basic 5th edition character sheets, but they have your class information on them depending on what class. So they have like a fighter one, a paladin one, a cleric one, a bard one, and they have like all the skills that you learn as you level up already printed on the sheet, so you don't need to look it up or figure out what you need to do. It's all right there laid out for you, and they are really good, and they're free.
Yeah, they are all free.
Yeah,
I paid. Just I wanted to throw money at them.
Yeah, you can pay.
D&D Guild is not.
That's fine.
Anyway, yeah, they're awesome. They have although I did notice he has a spell error on some of them.
Ooh.
Some of them say level 6 when it should say level 9.
Typos.
You know, you did a good job. I would pull up your name, and I will. You just have to give me like 10 minutes. So that I highly recommend those for new players, and even old. I love them.
Yeah,
I use them myself.
They're great.
It's just great to not have to flip through the book when I need to, like a skill reference. Be like, all right, how long does your divine sense reach as a paladin? I just looked at my paper. You know, I could look at the book and sift through, find paladin, or I could just look at my paper and be like 60 feet. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So, there we go. Class character sheets, I think it's just called. It's number 2 under most popular D&D Guild.
Oh yeah, it's right there on the front page.
Free download PDFs. They have everything, all the classes, and some blank ones, so you can like make your own class and just fill it all in, which is nice. Who made it? Emmett Byrne.
Emmett Byrne.
Byrne. Thank you, Emmett.
Good on you, guy.
Yeah, you put a lot of work into that.
Yeah.
Congrats. That stuff's great.
I think another very important, or the most important thing to have physically is a set of dice.
This is true. Yes, a full set. And again, you can just have one and share around the table if
that's true. If you really want,
you guys, want to.
They're not expensive. They're like $5-6 for a set. If you just buy like the plastic ones.
Like Chessex.
Chessex. That one.
Yeah, that brand. Yeah, you can get just the full set of dice.
Yep, there's 7 of them.
D10. Yeah, 7 dice there. DM should have a.
I think the DM should either have the 3 books. Player's Handbook, DMG, or Monster Manual, or a laptop.
Yes, have a laptop.
Yeah, laptop is very helpful, and you can play like background music from your laptop while you're DMing, and you can just look up the information you would need. And
lastly, just have a notebook.
Yeah,
so you can take notes. That's it. I mean, it sounds like a lot because we just talked about there, but honestly, just go down. If you just go down the list really briefly, 1 Player's Handbook, set of dice, map, grid map for the table. Laptop for the DM, or any sort of device for the DM there, and notebook, pencils, lots of pencils.
Maybe a set of figures. You don't need the official D&D figures. Just use like anything to mark where your players. Are
like marbles or like different colored marbles, something like that. And there you go.
They do have official ones you can buy of your characters. You can even make your own. But if you're hard on cash, just put like little. Like whatever. Figures on there. We used
like Pokemon figures. We have when we were kids, like stuff like that. I think by the end of like the 4-year campaign I was part of, everybody was Pokemon. Like it just kind of slowly, we just were like, oh, reach for a figure. Oh, we got Pokemon right here. Like, there you go. Oh,
was fine.
Okay, yeah.
It was fun.
So I mean, other tips for DM, like fledgling DMs.
Don't be scared.
Just trust yourself. For now, you'll get better. It's lots of improv for you and your players.
Improv is the best part, in my honest opinion.
Now, what about player? What if you're a player? Well, we got tips for the players here.
For the players, it's easier. You pretty much just have to focus on you. So, I think
I would argue that.
Okay, I mean we can argue, but I think the best tip I can give a player character is, besides making your stats and besides making that, which is fun and important. Make a story. Give your character like what was he before you started playing this game. What did he do in the past 5 to 10 years? What's his life? Where did he come from? All that stuff. That's very important stuff.
Are you Edgelord McGee or are you lawful good Shbee?
Lawful stupid.
Lawful stupid Shbee.
Oh yeah, alignment's kind of a thing, but you don't really need to focus on it.
Don't worry about alignment.
Yeah,
it's kind of a crutch.
Give your character his or her own morality.
I think what I was going to dispute there. It's all about the best saying I ever heard about D&D was that Dungeons and Dragons is a game where everyone, DM players, work together to create a story.
True.
And as a result, when in character creation, focus on yourself, get your backstory composed well. But I think one of the most important things ever, if you are a player, please keep this in mind, is that everybody wants to tell their story.
Yes.
But more so, everybody wants to have fun. And a big part of having fun is everybody feeling like they are participating.
Yes.
So I, as an individual who have my backstory, should embrace David's backstory of his character by asking his character questions about his backstory. You know, when his arc is kind of up, when care about it. Care about it, contribute to it. Don't hijack it.
Yeah.
It's not about you in that moment. Understand that just like in life, some situations are not about you.
Yeah.
Some other people that want to have fun. Sometimes it's about both of you together. Sometimes it's about you kind of separately. But you can still contribute to that, and you can help that player feel badass, because when it comes down to it, I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Yeah, exactly. I think a good basic example is, say I'm playing a paladin. Ooh. And my backstory is that I really hate devils. Yeah. I want to just purge them from the existence of the multiverse.
Screw devils.
Yeah. I'm a lawful good, and that is, I will never not kill a devil when I see one.
Yep.
And then you come in, you're like, I'm playing a tiefling.
Yeah, I'm playing a tiefling.
Which is half devil, half person. And I see you, and I just murder you instantly.
Yeah. That's not fun.
No, that's not fun for the person playing the tiefling. He had a whole story set up. He wanted to do his thing. You, as the paladin, need to think of a reason why you would not kill this person.
And you might think...
That's how you do it.
And I think someone might make the argument of like, oh, well, they just shouldn't play a tiefling, right? Like, it's just the worst excuse. It's what my character would do.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
Those are the worst, most painful words ever. That's what my character would do.
Yep.
No, that's like me, like, kicking an old lady as she's crossing the street. Like, why did you do that? I'd be like, that's what I would do, bitch. You know? That's not a viable excuse.
I know. You need to make sure that everyone you're playing with is having a good time. That's everyone's job at the table.
And I think, what do you think a good solution to that issue would be? As a player, you just found out, hey, I'm playing a tiefling, and our characters meet in the tavern. You know, how do we get around that?
Because I could have my paladin as a character hate you. I could not want to be near you. I could not want to talk to you. I could backtalk you to the other party members, but I don't want to kill off another player character. And that might be like metagaming as a player to make my character not do that. But that's fine. That's, you know.
And I think there are plenty of ways to come up with story reasons to have it work out as well. Whether you have to work with your DM or with that other player. Put a cool spin on it. Like, okay, my tiefling character and your paladin character, maybe we have a spout at the beginning, right? We kind of plan this to happen. Maybe if we didn't tell the other players, that would be kind of interesting, but the DM is in on what we're going to do. And at some point, maybe we get into a little scuffle, a little fight, and through some amalgamation, something happens. And all of a sudden, we're cursed to where like we can't harm each other, or something to the effect of there's some sort of like blood curse on
if one of us gets hurt, the other one gets, or something like that.
Oh, that would be really messed up if it was like one of us died, the other died. That might be a little extreme, but that's cool. If you're into that, please do that. That's super cool. Something related to that, or there's some sort of stipulation to the fact that, like, yes, I hate devils, but if I attack this devil, there could be a lot. It's not worth it. Do that. I mean, it doesn't have to be the most solid excuse or the solid reasoning, but what's going to happen is your characters are going to spend time together, and if you keep the rule of fun, keep the rule of working together, you will eventually come to the point where those characters like each other. Either
the paladin might realize that the tiefling isn't really that bad of a person, is like doing good stuff, and he's like, maybe I shouldn't kill this dude.
Maybe devils aren't all bad.
Or the tiefling, or something happens to the paladin where he becomes a fallen paladin. And stops caring about killing demons so much.
Was the tiefling corrupt the paladin?
It could go one way, it could go the other. Like, just just grow a story out of it. Make it something that you can work with.
It's all about storytelling, So, what it boils down to is have fun as a player, work together.
Yeah.
No matter what, everything can be compatible. You can make a reason for things to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Do not just give up and pick the easiest route that results in people getting salty.
Yeah.
And people are gonna get salty.
And as a DM, don't be scared. If you're having trouble thinking of a story, take inspiration. Get inspiration from we've run. I mean, it wasn't the best, but we ran a Pokemon campaign. We ran a Witcher campaign.
Yeah, we're running a Witcher campaign right now.
Yeah,
that's pretty fun.
We've done, or I think a Final Fantasy one is planned. We've done things. I feel like we've done more in the past.
Starless campaign was just anime. I've done a Fate Stay Night campaign.
Yeah,
I've done a Fate Stay Night campaign with 2 people. One of them being me.
Yep.
That was one of the best campaigns ever. It was so much fun.
So you can take inspiration, or you can just create something of your own if you really want.
Yeah. Look at Critical Role.
Critical Role is probably the best online D&D session that you can watch to learn the fundamentals of how to play.
Yeah. Recommendation, if you guys can't meet in person when you play, your group of friends, go to Aperol 20.
Oh yeah.
That's a great website. It's all free, completely free.
Yeah.
And it's just a system where you and your friends play D&D online. Get Skype or Discord, hop on that. I think Aperol 20 actually has their own video stream and
Roll20 I think does.
Yeah.
And you can create maps on there.
Yeah, you can create maps.
Run the whole thing.
There's a lot of stuff on there you can use. It's great.
Yeah.
I've been on many campaigns, not lately, but
I've been on a few. They're pretty fun.
No, excuse me. So we got quick stuff for DM, quick stuff for players. Let's see. I mean, what else can we talk about here? I don't want to talk about too much specifically, only because again, I want to do a special themed episode there. But might as well just talk here. Sorry, let me fix that. How about what is your favorite spell?
My favorite spell
in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, there's so many of them.
Yes.
I know I talk about it a lot, but it's probably Rope Trick.
Tell us about Rope Trick.
Rope Trick is a spell, kind of a weird one. Doesn't do any damage, but what it does is it rips a small portal into the fabric of space, and it leads into a pocket dimension, which is a very individualized dimension specifically made for you. And a string of rope hangs down from the open dimension, and you can climb up the rope into the portal. You and up to 5 other people.
I think there's even more.
It might be more. And you can climb into it, and nothing besides what you will can go into it. Even spells, even attacks, nothing can go inside the portal. So you just climb up into it and hide in there, and it lasts an hour. And it's just if you're in a fight and in trouble, you and your friends just climb up the rope into the portal, and you're untouchable. You can't shoot anything out, so you can't hurt things. But you just sit up there and wait it out.
So I'm trying to look up the spell now.
Yeah.
Hold on. Just to get the semantics here.
Oh, yeah.
For you. Hold on, I got you.
I think it's only a 3rd level spell, too.
It's a 2nd level spell. Yes.
It's so good.
8 medium or smaller creatures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So an entire party.
Yeah, and it lasts for an hour.
Yeah. Yep. It's
pretty good.
It's so good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
What about you? What's your favorite spell?
My favorite spell would have to be... There's so many that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
One that always comes to my mind is Prismatic Spray.
That is a good one.
It's a higher level spell. Essentially, you throw out a cone of different multicolored beams.
Yep.
And every creature in that cone, you roll a d8, you have 8-sided die, and there's a different effect for every version.
Depending on what color hits them.
Yes, depending on what... Each number represents a color. So 1 through 4, I think, are elemental damages. So it's roll 10d6 ice damage, or I'm sorry, cold damage. But then later, in the later numbers, there's they have to make a saving throw, or they're banished to another dimension, or something like that. Crazy stuff. I love random.
Yeah.
I love random.
Wild magic, as it's called.
So the reason I asked favorite spells was because no matter who you ask, there is such a diverse list of spells. There is.
In
essence, D&D is a varied game where anything is possible because it's a lot of theater of the mind.
Yes, absolutely. The one thing to realize when you start playing D&D is you can do anything you want.
When you have this sort of spectrum of like even the lower level things that you can achieve, like with Rope Trick, are so much different and more viable in some situations than the 7th, 8th, 9th level spells that you get, later levels. And Dungeons and Dragons is a game of imagination and a game where no matter what, no game will ever be the same.
Yes. I think one of the most important things to keep in mind when you play D&D is why I just said that anything can happen, because I think that was the hardest thing for me to learn as a player. And I feel like that's the hardest thing for a lot of new players to learn, because when the DM is like, okay, you need to go here to kill this thing, or to go in this dungeon, or to find this thing. When you're a new player, and especially if you play a lot of video games and stuff, you take that as a quest. You're like, oh, okay, that's the mission. That's what we have to do. And then you go and do it. Or you could be like, I don't do that, and I go take a karate class, or I go eat my weight in hot dogs. You can literally do whatever you want to do.
Eat my weight in hot dogs?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think of what spell would be most appropriate for eating a lot of hot dogs.
And that's not, if you do that, that's not even being a bad player. The DM just has to adapt to that.
Yes.
The DM has to improvise, be like, okay, that's what you do.
It's one thing. Remember, you're working together to tell a story.
Yes.
So if everybody's like, let's go do this quest.
Let's go eat hot dogs.
Hey, guys, I'm going to go eat a hot dog. I'm going to eat some hot dogs. And now we have to, like, we meet for 4 hours or 3 hours a night, and now we have to like spend an hour because you want to eat hot dogs.
Another important thing is don't split the party, or try to split the party as little as possible. Yeah. So keep everyone doing the same thing. If you're like, I want to go eat my weight in hot dogs, and everyone else is like, yeah, we do too, then okay, that's fine.
Anytime to eat, everybody. If that guy wants to eat hot dogs, decide. All right, let's go eat hot dogs first, and then we're gonna go do the dungeon.
Yeah, exactly.
Or vice versa. Or you want to eat hot dogs? Why don't you go to the dungeon and we'll eat some hot dogs? Or
if the DM is like, you need to kill this dude or this whole town is destroyed, you don't have to save the town.
Yeah. That's the beauty of role-playing games of Dungeons and Dragons. It's the ability to tackle any situation the way you want to, in a way that video games can't, or even choose your own adventures can't do. Limited by the medium. It's limited by, how far that medium has advanced and whatnot. Maybe one day you will be able to get that far in video games and stuff, but that's programming. You know what I mean? It's not gonna, AI isn't that formidable enough yet to counteract all these different choices we can make, unlike the human mind. And as a result, I mean, God, every game is just so interesting, and every player is different, every character is different, everything you do is different.
And there's a lot of memorable moments when it comes to D&D campaigns. Like the one that I DM'd, we were talking the other night about memorable moments that happened. Like, we were fighting pretty much what is like Mother Brain at one point.
Yes. And
one of our players, she was a rogue, and she tried to like leap into the tank, and she rolled really bad on her dexterity check and fell in.
Yeah.
And it was funny. It's like...
Yeah. That's... here is another big tip. A great point. Failure is perfectly fine.
Yes. It's better than critting most of the time.
Failure can be the gateway to hilarious and sometimes even more rewarding situations.
Yes, absolutely.
That dexterity check you fell down a cavern, maybe at the bottom of that cavern, maybe you didn't die, right? But there's like a little entrance to somewhere else. And don't be frustrated. Don't be mad that you failed at a roll. Yeah. And then try and get really salty about it. Like, there's so many cool things that can happen as a result.
Yeah. And a lot of character building happens from failure. Yeah. So like if you like fail to do this and you got a certain scar, or you failed to do this and your weapon broke, or you failed to do this and even if you become known at being bad at that one thing because you keep failing at it, that's like character building. Whether it's funny, or whether you become like badass, or whether the weapon that broke was like from your ancestors and now that's part of your story, or so much can happen, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It works off of you, right? In games, you have to work off games most of the time, like video games and choose your own adventure style games. Yep. But D&D is a game where you, or any role-playing game, I should say, is a game where you craft your own story. You craft it however you wish, and DMs, watch out, because your players will break your games.
Oh yeah,
it is their like goal in life to break your games.
Players will do anything they can to ruin you.
Friggin', you better be careful what magic items you give them, because you give them like anything that can make them teleport. Forget it. Your puzzles are done.
Never give a party. Just word of advice. Yeah. There's an item called the immovable rod, and what it does is it's a staff, but there's a button on top. When you click it, it becomes stuck in place. Nothing can move it. Like, unless someone passes a really high strength check, nothing moves it, even gravity. If you never give a party 2 of those.
Oh yeah,
because you can just make your own step ladders.
Yep.
And just literally climb into the air and climb up anything. Yep. You can break an entire game.
It's perfect.
Don't do it.
I love, one of my favorite characters was a wild magic sorcerer. And you all have to play magic or wild magic once in your life.
It's fun.
In D&D. It is so amazing.
What that does is, if you roll a d20, a 20-sided die to cast a spell, and you roll a 1, random stuff happens.
And there's a whole table in the player's handbook that you roll a d100.
Yep.
And whatever you land on, that happens. And it could result in everyone dying.
Yep.
Or it could result in you can't get drunk for like such and such days.
Yes.
Something goofy, or like butterflies fly out of the enemy.
You want to tell everyone what your sorcerer ended up looking like by the...
Oh man. So okay, a word of advice. We threw aside the wild magic table in the player's handbook because we went through most of the choices on there. So we were like, oh, we don't want the same things to happen.
Yeah.
So we found online a 10,000 wild magic surges.
Yes.
So over 10,000 different options that would happen. You want to know how to roll a D10,000? It's essentially, what was it? It's the D10 for every place.
Four D10s.
Yeah, 4 D10s.
And then if you roll 0, it's 10,000.
Yeah, and if you roll 10,000, it arranges for this 10,000 different things that could happen. By the end of that campaign, or at one point in that campaign, I had an invisible neck.
Yep. It was still there, it was just invisible.
I wore a Kevlar helmet.
You did.
I had a robotic arm with a shotgun attachment.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is, medieval times.
Yep. A glowing jewel on my forehead.
Yes.
I think that's it.
I think.
There
was a TV at one point.
Oh, in general, I had a lot of stuff that happened to me in that campaign. More than I could ever remember. At one point, we were in these underground, the city, with dwarves and whatnot. And I had a wild magic go off, and we're like, oh, what happened? And like this black box appeared.
Yep.
With like a weird rope, like this weird feeling rope coming out of it.
Yep.
And glass on the front, and we were like, what is that? And David was our DM.
Yep.
And he was just describing this, and nobody really knew what it was by the way he was describing it.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's just carry it around, and we carried it around trying to figure out what it was. Finally come across an enemy. I used telekinesis and I drop it on the enemy. Yep. And it turned out it was a TV.
It was a flat screen TV.
It was a flat screen TV. And it's just so fun. Like, that failure of a roll I did before, I did such a hilarious. It was wild magic.
Yeah, it was
Look
funny.
up that 10,000 wild magic guide. It's even updated now.
Yeah, it up to 2.0 came out.
I almost blew up the sun.
Oh yeah,
ended the campaign.
If you roll a 10,000,
I rolled 3 zeros in a row.
Yeah, if you roll 4 zeros in a row, the nearest sun explodes
in
a giant supernova, which would end the campaign.
That would be. I'd be salty.
Yeah, I know. That'd be funny though.
Anyway, we can talk about personal experiences anytime.
Yeah. Just have fun. Is the general gist.
And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it's really hard to have fun.
That's true. But you can, like, for me, it was very easy to make a first character. That's actually a good point. What was your first character that you ever made in D&D or any tabletop?
It's the typical, and it's okay for people to do this. It was the self-insert character.
Yeah.
It was like the me not knowing how to roleplay, me being really nervous around new people, being like, okay, I don't want to roleplay hard because what if they think I'm weird, or it's just really awkward. So his name was Jaden Quill, because I love Quilladin. He's my favorite Pokemon, so I just a lot of my characters. I mean, Jaden Quill, Hayden Quill, Maiden Quill, Aiden Quill, Moby Quill.
Oh my god. I didn't know you had that many.
I had another one. I don't remember though. Anyway, so Jaden Quill, he was like we started. This is 3.5,
Yep.
and I joined the campaign around level 32
because that campaign went to level 60. Yeah, which is insane.
That was a campaign where you were there for the first half, and then you left, and I was there for the second half.
Yes. Yeah. So max level in D&D is usually 20.
Yep.
The first campaign we played went to 60 because 3.5 is insane.
Yes. It was amazing. It wasn't even D&D at the end.
No.
And I loved it. But I was like, I looked up, I didn't know anything about classes at 3.5, so I went online. It was like a Batosai class. I like Rurouni Kenshin. and I chose that. And oh man. And then I became... no, fine. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'll talk about this later. It's not even... It's so stupid. Anyway, yeah, the first character I played, his name was Jaden Quill. He was like a Batosai dude, and I just played him like me. Maybe that's why I really liked the character so much, because I stuck with him to the end. And like a lot of the stuff that happened to him was like a lot of my genuine reactions. Yeah. Which was nice. What about you? What was your first character like?
My first character was in that same campaign.
Yep.
It was, God, what, like 7 years ago now? Longer. His name is Poslo, which is what I usually name my tank characters. Yeah. And it was kind of easy for me because I based my first D&D character around my main WoW character. So I played World of Warcraft since launch.
I see.
So I was like, I played a dwarf tank, and I wanted to be super tanky. So I just made like a fighter in D&D and just gave him as much health as possible, as much armor as possible. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, and he was just like very like scruff and no nonsense. And that was just his character. Yeah. And it was fun. I had a blast with it. Until we got to like the crazy high levels, and I was like, I'm not so into this anymore.
No, yeah, you ended up leaving. I don't blame you.
But there was one time that I always remember that I've said before, where we were fighting a giant bird thing on a tower that was like a mile high, and I fell off, or it picked me up and dropped me off, and I had so much health that I survived the fall. And then I just spent the whole rest of the 2 hours we were fighting and running back up the tower.
Did you end up getting to the top before beating it?
No, it was dead by the time I got to the top.
Oh, fuck.
So great. It's funny.
I could spend hours talking about memorable moments about Dungeons and Dragons, but it's not why we're here.
But we're here to tell people that's what comes of playing. If you're afraid to play, or even if you don't have anyone to play with, there are join an adventure league. Adventure leagues are just public D&D games that people play at like hobby shops. Yeah,
you find like hobby shops if you have like toy vaults near you, or just like comic book stores like that. Ask around, even if they don't advertise it. Like odds are they probably have an adventure.
Yeah, it's usually one day a week. Adventure leagues are a little more strict on the rules, but it's just you just go and play.
That's kind of good.
Yeah,
when you're learning how to play, helps keep you a focus, because they give you you have to use these books, limited to this stuff.
Even at conventions. If you ever go to PAX, any of the PAXs, they have like a whole room of tables where people, even like officials from Wizards of the Coast, are like DMing campaigns.
I've never been in those, and I really want to.
I've been to them, but never played in them.
Are there usually a lot of people?
Oh yeah, they're usually filled. The tables are full.
Wow.
But
we should do that.
And I recently learned, if you DM a game at PAX on Thursday and Friday, you get free entry to PAX Saturday and Sunday.
Whoa, really?
Yes, you get the weekend pass for free.
Yo, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's co-DM.
It's crazy. So
I would love to DM.
Just a tip.
I would love to DM just for people.
Me too. It would be awesome. And you just DM from the books too, so it's all written down for you. It's all official stuff.
Jeez.
Right.
There's so much to talk about when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons.
I know.
I kind of just want to label this as like a be dinner kind of thing.
Yeah.
For people, and please let us know if you want to hear more about Dungeons and Dragons in terms of more focused content, class guides. I would love to go over classes and just kind of post videos of just maybe I want to think of playing a ranger. What are subclasses? What's good about them? What's not good about them? What do they like?
Or if you just how to make a character.
How to make a character, how to make a character. Even a more structured list of DM stuff. We'll write something out. Stuff like that. I mean, if you guys want to comment, message us on Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Please, drop something.
If you have any questions, if you want to know more about DMing or more about a specific expansion book like Xanathar's, or I don't know, anything.
Yeah. I want to spend the last 10 minutes talking about Mordenkainen, which is the new book coming out.
It was recently announced.
Yes. May 29th, I believe it's going to be actually released. So, what's Mordenkainen?
Mordenkainen is a dude. He's a mage in the D&D lore. Which exists.
Which is really hard to get into.
Yeah, the D&D lore is kind of convoluted.
It's such a mess.
Yeah, it is. It's like Kingdom Hearts. But it's like Mordenkainen's like a few spells are named after him, like Mordenkaine's Magnificent Mansion. Just a few of them. And I guess the book is focused on his travels between the multiverse and his like cosmic perspective on all the battles and conflicts that take place within the D&D universe.
Yep.
Did you just break your chapstick?
I don't know. I think it's like stuck in here.
Oh no.
That's okay. There's always more where that came from. Seriously, this thing never fucking ends.
Yeah, I know.
Burt's Bees, what are you hiding from me?
Those things don't end ever. I've never finished. I don't really use chapstick though. But anyway, there's a lot of new monsters in Mordenkainen's book. A lot of them challenge rating 10 or higher, which are like, the big baddies.
Yeah, which I'm excited about.
Me too. Because as of right now, it's like, oh, you want to play to level 20, fight dragons. That's it.
I'm so tired of being level like 5.
Yeah.
I've been in like a few campaigns where like right now I've been in a campaign for like a few years and we just leveled up to level 7.
That's insane. How do you only hit level 7 in a few years? Like I get level in the campaign I'm running now, I'm kind of leveling you guys fast because I don't want the campaign to be too long.
Yeah.
But you guys will pass 5 or even 7 pretty quickly.
Yeah. Level 3 is where the game really picks up. Yeah. And then I think past level like 8 is where
that's when things become that becomes like a real game.
My mistake. I'm getting off topic. Never mind.
Mordenkainen.
So Mordenkainen, his new book, or the new book, this is Coastairs Publishing. So it's tackles and adds a lot more, like you said, higher challenge rating monsters, as well as a lot more lore about cosmic powers. Yeah. In the world of D&D, about extraplanar forces, stuff like that. It talks about the lore between elves and drow elves, which people don't know. Drow elves, which you can play as in base 5th edition.
Like the underground elves.
Like underground elves who like everybody hates for some reason or another. And we're going to find more reason as to why.
And the dwarves in Duergar, which is the same. The Duergar are like the underground dwarves.
Then talk more about the Blood War, which is what I'm excited about, which is the war between demons and devils. What's the difference? There's a big difference. Yeah. Just I looked it up. And that I'm super interested in that.
Do you think they'll add more about angels? They don't really go into too much depth about angels in D&D.
I mean,
they do devils.
Maybe the devils will talk more. I mean, because devils are the fallen angels, technically. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to know more about like Elysium, like that plane of existence and whatnot. It's weird because like if you looked in the deity list at the end of Player's Handbook, it's like here are like Dungeons and Dragons deities. And here's like Norse deities. Yeah. Like, why is Thor in here? Like, just very kind of strange. Yeah. I guess why is Hades in here? Like,
if you want to add them.
Like, yeah. I don't know. It's weird. But what the other thing that it's adding, in addition to lore, apparently they're gonna add more sub races. I think
sub races. Yeah, I think they're gonna add new races because they did compare it a lot to Volo's Guide to Monsters, which not only had a lot of monsters, but had a lot of playable monster races. Okay. So I think this is going to do something similar.
Oh, it's going to add the Dinth.
Yeah.
The Dinthraki and
the other one that's really hard.
Zeddy.
Yeah, the one that's spaghetti. Yeah, they're hard to pronounce.
Do you know anything about them?
Nope.
They are awesome. They were in one of my other campaigns briefly. They sail through the cosmic or the astral sea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they literally have like boats that like sail through like the cosmic, like the ether itself, and they hunt red dragons.
Oh, whoa!
That Dinthraki do at least. Which is so badass.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I would love to learn more about them and like why they do that, and I'd love to use them in a campaign.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I've been thinking a lot about using like an extra dimensional campaign about traveling to different planes and whatnot, and I think this would be perfect for me.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
And I like the idea of using them. They also mentioned, who else did they mention? I don't have it open here.
Do you think since Mordenkainen is the author of this book, quote unquote author of this book, that they'll add more spells?
I really hope. They didn't say anything about that though.
I know.
Did Volo's Guide add any spells? No, we're not gonna get spells then.
No, you don't think so?
Even though he's like a mage, I don't think we're gonna get spells. Which is a shame because he has like funny spells, like his Magnificent Mansion. Yeah, that's a great spell. Is it Mordenkainen's Tiny Hut?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I want more spells. I love spells.
Yeah, me too.
And Xanathar's Guide to Everything added a really good list of spells. A really good chunk of spells.
And a really useless magical items, which are the best type of magical items.
I want more magical items.
Me too.
I feel like I'm starting to... The more I start to learn about 5th edition, the more, like, bummed I am at myself that I can't have that new experience of, like, what is this item, you know?
I think the thing that I look up homebrew stuff the most of is items. Because, like, compared to how many monsters and like races and like everything else there is not a lot of items.
No, there really isn't. There's only the DMG, or the Dungeon Master's Guide that has items. And you have scattered items in all the books, one or another, and the supplements and whatnot, but nothing big. Yeah,
nothing huge.
I want more artifacts.
Me too. Legendary items.
Yes, I want more like the Hand and Eye of Vecna.
Yep.
These like apocalyptic items, essentially.
The like Talisman of Good and Evil.
Yes, or one I don't necessarily agree with is the Dragon's Orb or the Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Heart or something. It's like it lets you like detect when dragons are near or something. I don't know. It's kind of felt kind of weak. It doesn't deserve to be an artifact. I think it might be legendary. I'm not sure, but more artifacts would be awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
I would love that sort of costs.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
But I hope some stuff like that's in Mordenkainen's. I'm looking forward to all like the crazy hard challenge rating monsters, which all the high challenge rating monsters that are coming in that book will probably be interdimensional.
Yeah,
like this is from the
Plane of Fire.
Yeah, the Plane of Fire or the Abyss or Elysium or all that stuff.
Yep,
which is cool.
We'll get more like demons and devils.
Yeah, I know.
I love demons and devils as enemies.
Too.
Like I want to see something like Pit Fiend level.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be sick.
I want to know if they'll add challenge rating like 20 and above.
Ooh,
that's what I'm looking for. Those will be the big ones.
What challenge rating is a Hydra?
A Hydra?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I have to look that up.
I know Ancient Dragons are 21.
Okay. Which is the most powerful of dragons.
Yes. A dragon turtle is really high. That's like 19, I think.
Dragon turtle?
They're really high challenge rating. Oh. Yeah. And then the Tarisk obviously is 30, which is the highest. But there's nothing in between 21 and 30. So maybe we'll get something in there?
I think there's an official stat block for Tiamat.
Oh yeah,
I think the high, like I think some gods have official stat blocks. Yeah. Don't quote me on that though.
No, I know at least Tiamat does from one of the supplements.
Yeah. Rise of Tiamat, probably.
Yeah. But I think that was like 24. I think she's 24. I don't remember.
She can't be weaker than a Tarisk.
I think Tarisk is the strongest thing in existence.
Oh my gosh.
Which is weird. It's just like a giant T-Rex thing.
Remember when we beat it?
Yeah.
Just we cheesed it.
Yeah.
And we didn't actually beat it.
Yeah. A Tarisk is a really weird thing. But anyway.
So, I think that's it.
Yeah.
For today. Mordenkainen, I mean, didn't talk too much about it. But I think it's going to be a good book. May 29th coming out. If you like extra-dimensional stuff, if you want more monsters, like tougher monsters, and you want like a lore dump, and it's going to have great art and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about it more when it comes out. Tell you guys what to add and whatnot.
If you pre-order on Amazon, it's half off.
Yeah. Or it's like $20 off.
Right? Oh, yeah. That's $30 instead of $50.
Yeah. So, yeah, dead for $30, which is a wicked good deal. These books are made really nice, and they look great on a bookshelf, man.
They do.
All these books and really together look great on a bookshelf. But anyway, this has been a really weird episode of the Keep Tappin X podcast where we didn't talk anything about video games. But
just D&D.
Yeah, just D&D. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Hopefully we'll have something more scheduled for you next week, something a little more orderly. If not, we're back to our regularly scheduled broadcast. Let us know again if you want us to talk more about Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. We really like talking about it. Dave and I love it.
Yeah. So good.
So anyway, check us out on all of our social medias. You can check us out on SoundCloud, Google Play Music, iTunes, not Spotify, YouTube, Twitch.tv, and Facebook. Oh, and Twitter as well. You can check us out on all the social medias. You can look up Keep Tappin X with no G. It's Keep Tappin X, no G. And we will see you next week.
See ya.
Bye-bye.